Okay, well, today I have Craig Taylor on the line with me, and Craig is a winner on the Canadian Tour. And for those that are unfamiliar with the Canadian Tour, it's quite a reputable tour with 4 day events and a 2 day cut with purses in the $150,000 to $250,000 range. Kind of a development tour with the same format as the PGA Tour, except obviously the purse is a little less. So, Craig Taylor is from PEI originally, now in Halifax, and Craig grew up with quite a lot of junior success and carried that success through his amateur career and on to his college career, where he played for LSU, the LSU Tigers in Louisiana, and he graduated onto the Canadian Tour, where he won in his third year as a pro. So thanks, Craig, for joining me today.
No problem.
So Craig, just want to kind of look at your success on the Canadian Tour and specifically your win, and kind of talk about the psychology of that and the psychology of sport in general. And how important do you think sports psychology is in your opinion to becoming successful?
Well, obviously, I think it's very important. Um, I think for the guys on TV, um, their fundamentals, everybody's fundamentals are pretty much bang on, and I think it's around 90% for those guys. For 10 handicap, it might be 75% mental, 25% physical, and for 30 handicap, it might be 50-50. Um, but it's, you know, the mental game is a huge part, and the guys on TV are obviously the best at it. That's why they're there.
Yeah, for sure. And so the amateurs, you would say it's a lower percentage for sure of the mental part.
I would say because they don't have their fundamentals aren't great, and if you don't have good fundamentals, I mean, you're behind the eight ball there. But
Yeah.
the guys on TV, they all have good fundamentals, and whoever has the best mental game that week is probably going to be the winner.
Yeah. Okay. I think most people would agree with that. That level of importance on the psychology side. What did you do to learn more about sports psychology and your mental ability, or did it come naturally to you? Did you read about it? What was your focus, and did you work at it?
I didn't really read a whole lot or watch a whole lot of videos. I hung around the best guys on tour, the guys that were playing well, and just had a positive attitude with those guys. But as a kid, just being confident and hanging around the most confident people, and trying to stay away from the guys that were always having a problem or complaining or down on themselves. But I didn't do a whole lot of reading or video stuff. Um, just tried to hang out with the best thinkers and pick their brain a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned confidence in there. How do you said you hung around with the more confident players and the best players, which I think makes a whole lot of sense. How do you define confidence? Does that come with time, or is that something you can think yourself into, or
Um, I think it comes with time. You can't really fake it. You can have all the confidence in the world and shoot 80, but that's no good. I think you got to, believe in yourself, and I think the guys that are playing the best obviously think the best, and they're the most confident, and feeling at ease in any situation. I think it's definitely a big part of the game.
yeah? So if I'm hearing what you're saying, is it kind of your success at a lower level kind of breeds more confidence and allows you to play better at a higher level?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to achieve some things at a lower level, and gradually work your way up there so you can you can have that confidence and, look back on those experiences and learn from them. You just can't come out of the gate and, be confident. I don't know if that's possible. You can obviously have confidence, but I think you're going to have more confidence if you go through those experiences and, learn and, get some wins or some successful tournaments under your belt.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And you had mentioned when we were talking earlier about, the expectations of winning, and certainly I remember you talking about winning before you won, and, it was a part of your plan and kind of who you were, and how does the expectation kind of differ from goals?
Well, expectation is basically, something that you really believe in, you totally believe it, and you immerse yourself in it. I totally believed I was gonna win, and all through my junior career, I just immersed myself in winning and confidence, and just thinking that all the time, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess from what I'm hearing, it sounds to me like when it's an expectation, you're really living what it is that you want to have
Exactly.
happen, as opposed to a goal where it's more of a wish. Unless you convert that goal into your reality, then that makes it, I guess, more likely to become real.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So did you write your goals down?
I wrote down goals. Yeah. They probably weren't the best, and I know I do remember writing them down once a year and revising them at the end of the year and writing down new ones. But as for going through them in the middle of the year, I didn't do that. I probably should have. I might have won earlier, or after my win, I might have made bigger steps or made better goals, written better goals down. But I never did that, and I probably should have.
Yeah, okay. But I guess, from what you said earlier about the expectation of winning and how that differs a little bit from goals, I guess, if you set something as an expectation, it probably goes without saying you don't have to write it down. If it's something that you're living every day and focused on and it's all you think about,
Exactly.
then writing it down is only the first part of the commitment, really.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess having said that, if it was an expectation for you to win on the Canadian Tour, and of course you were able to make that your reality, what was the feeling of accomplishment like after you won?
It was great. I'm not going to say otherwise because it was great. Um, you know, 2 or 3 days later, it wore off a little bit, but when you expect something, I'm sure you don't get as much enjoyment out of it as if it wasn't. Like if you didn't expect to play well and you won the event, I'm sure you would be elated for months and months. But I when I won, it was even during the round, I didn't get too high or too low. I was just kind of even keeled. I knew after the 15th hole, I knew I was going to win, and I didn't think about it. But achieving a goal or realizing an expectation is it's rewarding for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm just wondering, as far as the mental side of the game, was there any particular person who influenced you on the mental side of the game, or any kind of event or anything that sort of got you focused in the right direction, or even a book? I think you mentioned you didn't really spend a lot of time reading, but did you have a mentor, or did you talk with players on the tour and friends, or how did you what influenced you on the mental side of the game?
Well, I had a manager, Dave McNeil. He he kept me in line pretty much, and we'd have meetings once a month or once every 2 months. yourself talking to you about, winning and, what to think when you're on the golf course, when you're off the golf course. I was fortunate enough to, have you two to talk to, but the players that I hung around on the Canadian Tour, they were, always pretty much the guys on the top of the money list, all my friends, and, when you sit around and talk to those guys, it's, missing the cut or playing bad, it doesn't even come into the conversation. It's, winning and, going to qualify for the U.S. Open next month, and just basically all positive. And, who you surround yourself with, I think is a very big influence on your results.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. I think that the better players definitely think in a different way, and hanging out with and playing with those guys definitely has probably a more positive influence. And I know you had mentioned that earlier, that was pretty important. So were there any particular players that you chatted with specifically about the mental side, or just in general you kind of hung around with the better players?
Just in general, Adam Spears maybe from Winnipeg, or Wes Heffernan, Derek Gillespie, those guys. But we never really talked much about it. Maybe my roommates that week in the hotel, we'd go through a few things, just how we're gonna play the course, or course management, or pre-shot routine stuff, or that's basically it. We didn't get into too deep of stuff because everybody was basically thinking the same things, thinking about winning, and nobody that I hung around had bad stuff rolling through their head. I'm sure, like some of the guys do.
Sure. Yeah. No, I don't doubt that. Yeah, I wanna get to pre-shot routine in a second. Before that though, I just wonder, on another sort of topic with course management. How important is course management to your success, and how do you feel that plays into the mental side of the game as well? Did you spend much time planning your rounds and specific holes and?
Yeah, I did. I spent a lot of time planning my rounds, and if anything, to a fault, I probably was not aggressive enough when I look back at it. I probably hit less of a club off a tee, or conservative and lay up, probably more than I should have looking back. I wish I would have been more aggressive, but I wasn't one of the longest guys out there for sure. I was probably one of the shortest. So, but also, when you're shorter, you're probably more accurate. But yeah, I wish I was a little more aggressive in my course management. It's really important to plan out your round and not be on the tee guessing. All you have to do is get the wind, and you already have your yardage down, and focused on the club that you're going to hit, that you hopefully went through the night before in your pre-game mental routine. But yeah, it's very important. You can't be out there guessing at all.
Yeah. Okay.